Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Geekverse Podcast. I am the light as mine, Taylor Field, and I'm joined by
The Pink Dread, Kirkland Patzer.
Good nicknames. The Pig Rider, Trasnell.
yes, and we are diving into episode 6 spoilers of House of the Dragon. But before we get into that, a couple of plugs. You can find us with your internet connection in the search bar. Geekverse.ca is our home base. Geekversecast is our Twitter. Geekverse on our Facebook. Be sure to check us out on our Patreon because you get a whole whack load of ad-free early content available there. Support us on Patreon, help us grow the show, create new content. It all just, everything you do to support us there just is like money in the bank for us that just gets spent back into the show, our time, everything like that. It means so much, so very much. And you know what? There's a few people I need to thank. I need to just level with you here, okay? We got our Patreon producers. These folks have gone above and beyond for the Geekverse podcast. The legendary Aaron Braden, the stunning April Darkness, the fantastic Smully Biggs, and the awesome Joshua Wright. You folks deserve a pat on the back, round of applause. Thank you so very much for your hard work, dedication. On top of that, Travis has something to say. Let's hear it.
And you guys got, at the time this drops, 6 days. If you join that tier for 3 months, you can get our Extra Life Lord of the Rings themed shirt. You get every single benefit we have, and also the money and the proceeds in October go towards BC Children's Hospital. So if you're looking to donate anywhere come November 5th, may as well just join that tier, and then you can do that. You have to join in September, though, and keep for 3 things. Yeah. Oh, look at that.
Is that our same goal? Is that our same goal?
It's the old one, too.
That's the
It's
old
November
date.
6th.
That's the old goal. October was when we'll start promoting it, but November 5th, yes, 24 hours, maybe 25 this year. And I think it's a goal of 3,500 this year. So it's
Big
it's
change.
it's a big change. But yes, you want to do that right now, get on that tier. And if you're already on that tier for Patreon producers, just stay on it, because in December time, you'll be getting a nice exclusive shirt. It's just Patreon only. That's it. That's the only way you can achieve such gifts.
Yes, there you go. Yes. And be sure to check us out with our code for Manscaped, 20% off. GVPod is the promo code. Use it, abuse it, because that's some good shit, let me tell you. Without further ado, unless you guys have anything you want to add, we can get into our non-spoilers thoughts.
No, you check out Don't Worry Darling. Me and Dylan did that this week. We have 10 episodes dropping on the Geekverse feed, so more than an episode a day. Tons of stuff. Smile, all the shows. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Spicy.
Okay. So who wants to lead us in with their non-spoilers thoughts for this episode?
I'll lead us in. I'll go ahead on it. This is the episode 6. Is that right?
Yes.
Episode 6 now. So we got
4
the
more to
new
go.
crew in too. We're saying goodbye to, oh my gosh, Millie Alcock, and what was the lady that played Alicent? Something Carey. Emily Carey, maybe. I don't know. I'm
yeah.
sorry. I'll have to check it. But anyways, so we got the new crew in here, and I was like excited and sad. So yeah, mixed feelings for sure going into this one, because it's like, yeah, I'm losing my crew that I really liked. And then going into here, I was expecting some fabulous performance with these new characters, which is totally the case. But I just think that for myself, I got hit with like it's like a speed bump, because it's like, okay, we're changing up a lot of things here, and I wasn't prepared for the speed bump, so it hit, and it was like, oh, okay, yeah, this is what's happening now. And then now I'm over the speed bump, so I think going into next week, I'm a lot more excited. Like at the end of this episode, I even watched like the little preview for next week, so I'm definitely very excited for that one. But I must say there was a lot of things in here that I was just kind of like, I don't even want to say checked out. It was just like, okay, I'm not too attached to this particular character right now. Just I don't even know. Maybe it's a new face. Maybe it's just because there is quite a long like time jump from last week's episode to this week's episode. So maybe that just kind of caught me off. So I think I can safely say this is my least favorite episode so far of the series, but like it's not a bad episode. So I think that speaks to just the quality overall of the show. So that's good. I definitely just saw some great performances, and great locations, costumes, keeps just remaining on that tier. Dragons were fucking awesome as well to see. So all that stuff's good. But yeah, I think it was, I don't know. I should have toned down my expectations a little bit going into this week's episode, because now it happened. Now I can maybe boost them up again, because I'm definitely looking forward on where we're going. There's a lot of Game of Thrones stuff going on after this episode. Yeah, I'll pass along.
It's interesting, because this feels very much like a season premiere, but it's not that. It's in the middle of a season. We're playing because season premieres usually do that unless they take off like right at the start of the last issue. It's like you're playing catch up wherever our character's been. But this wasn't a year. This was a week, and I feel like already I see. It's kind of I think what Kirkland says, where it's the writing and like the sets, everything. Like it's Game of Thrones good. Like it's there's that level bar where it's hitting that. And I don't think it's a whole episode. I just mean for the general, where I feel like already when I just open up my timeline quickly is already a lot of I absolutely love it to a lot of like I don't know how I feel about this. And I was that same way a couple weeks ago and I said I don't know about this time change. I wasn't a fan of it. I wasn't a fan of the 2-year jump, so the fact that we did a 10-year jump I think I was even less so a fan of. So overall I liked it a lot more than I thought. I think for me where I'm gonna fall on this time jump is when we get to the end of this season, because there's things that are fun about it, but there's also things where I feel like we're moving very, very fast. Like I feel like even the end of this episode, tons of stuff happened that I feel like you could have stretched over 2 to 3 episodes. I just feel like we're moving at warp speed, which can be good because I know some people's complaints about like earlier Game of Thrones season that moved so slow, but for me that was never necessarily a complaint. You really got to live and breathe the world and the characters, and especially this one, this is like kind of trying like to be minor spoilers, but you're introduced to concepts or people at the start of this episode that have maybe been around for 5-10 years and then they're going away or it's going away at the end of this episode, and you rarely I feel like we're just not having much room to breathe. So overall I still really liked it. The 2 actresses, like I said, Olivia Cook, who plays Allison now, I was a big fan of before this, so I knew she was going to kill it, and I think she's killing it. I think her name's Emma D'Arcy. I think she does really good as well, but it's still like not enough to make me like the things they're doing I still wish the other actresses would be doing, and not because these ones are bad, and obviously with this time jump you kind of need this, but again I'm still in the camp till we get to the end of the season of I think a lot of the stuff you could have done with them throughout these 10 years and stuff like that. I don't know, other than it's no spoilers in the trailers, aging up some of these kids if we need to do that, or even if we need to do that in this season. So yeah, I liked it overall. I think it's a really good episode. Last week I thought, I wasn't on the review, but last week I thought that was like a top 10 like Game of Thrones episode of all time, like between this show and Game of Thrones in general. Like I would put that somewhere in there, wherever my top 10 would be. I thought last week was like a solid 10 out of 10. Like that just delivered. So this week I really liked it, but I'm on a wait and see approach for when we get to episode 10, I think, and the finale. So that's where I am with the show. But overall, I thought it was a really good episode still. And there's tons of fucking juices going on and story. There's a lot of storylines, like a fucking lot of storylines going on.
There was a lot of juice packed into this can this week, I would say.
Yeah, which again is a good thing and a bad thing, because you feel like you're getting along the episode, but at the same time it's a lot to digest, and again it feels like butter scraped over too much bread, so
Well said.
Yes. So this episode for me, I really loved it. I was just so engaged with all of it, and I think that any worries I had of these new actresses and actors taking over for these characters, for their predecessors, I should say, totally gone in the wind. Like I think it's not at all like insult to injury. I would think like me liking these performances in this episode over the delivery of the previous actors and actresses. I think that what they did was fantastic. So when it comes down to looking at this, I like you said, Travis, it feels like a season premiere. So I'm gonna have to categorize it. Okay, like those first 2 episodes were those performances and that, and then these 5 episodes are like these performances and this. So it's gonna be weird to kind of close off the whole series of my final thoughts when we get to that final review. But yeah, I just thought this episode was great. I love the drama, the dilemma, and getting to be reintroduced to familiar characters, but new faces as well. And it was just a lot of stuff to kind of latch onto and kind of pick up. But old Game of Thrones fashion, like you mentioned, Kirkland, couldn't agree more. I really loved how we got into some seedy things. And then there was some other stuff that was going on. I thought, oh, for fuck's sakes, like this is just... this piece of shit. What do you think you're doing?
What are you talking about?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we'll save that for spoilers. But yeah, it's overall, I think this episode was fantastic. I really, really enjoyed it. So yeah. Any more final thoughts before we get into spoilers?
negative.
Negatory.
Okay, well, we'll jump to a quick first ad break, and we will be right back. And we're back. So where do you guys want to start?
I think I want to. I don't know. I want to start with the kids. I want to start remembering Rhaenyra's kids.
Yes.
So obviously, because I
beating off in the morning. That's where
Well,
you want to
not,
start.
that's the cousin.
that's what
Okay.
Taylor was doing. I was wondering what the fuck
Yeah,
he was
that's
doing.
the
I'm like, is he
cheese.
about to? We'll wait till light is mine, everything like that. Well, that's a whole can of issues. All those kids are fucking weird.
My kingdom.
And that's going to be a whole issue and a fun time this season. But so you have Rhaenyra, right? And I this was in the trailers. I do watch the trailers, and I remember they had that line of Alicent being like, 3 children and none of them look like them. Like, what an insult to the kingdom and all this stuff, right? And my worry, because I think the show's done this a few times, where we kind of had that with Game of Thrones with the Lannisters, right? Like, that was the big deal. Like, why these kids don't look like Robert Baratheon? Like, why? So I was like, do we really need to retread this? I'm still waiting to see, because it's like we've done this story before. So it is questionable, because I didn't think about that, at least with Baratheon and Cersei. It's like, well, they're blonde, Cersei's blonde. You can kind of draw those lines. These kids not having a speck of white hair is very, very questionable. And I think that's where I understand why they jumped forward. I think there's 2 maybe cons I have with the forward jump, and I'll ask you guys, maybe we go one by one, but just where, so her and Alicent's relationship being so rocky and so furious and so angry, I can kind of do the casework in my head to see why we got there. But again, I wish we kind of got there, because when we left off, they're starting to trust each other one again. So I think that's kind of a big jump. And 2, tell me if I'm wrong, the guy that was the Hand of the King, who is the alleged father of all these children, right? Harwood was his name or something like that. Do you
Yeah, he
remember?
had the Hand of the King. He had his 2 sons, the creepy dude with the cane, and then the other knightly man who's doing
Yeah,
the
he had
seeding.
nice curly hair. He's looking like a young Clive Owen and stuff. Had we saw him at all in the younger generation?
I don't think so.
Okay.
We did actually.
did we really?
Yeah, because I was asking that, and then Shay did some googling. So when Rhaenyra and Kristen Cole like run off during that hunt sequence,
Yes, and they had the fire and everything.
and
like
and then
that.
the fire happens, and then Rhaenyra comes back all bloody. There's like this moment where she like glances over, and there's this dude like checking her out, like getting all excited. And apparently that's who this cat is.
Okay.
It's a different actor, so
Yeah.
it was hard to attach the
So
two.
that
And then
doesn't help.
That's like the brother of the creepy like cripple guy too, like the new Littlefinger.
And that's where I feel like there's times in Game of Thrones where you'd be like, are these people related? What's the relation? And you would get there and go, oh, okay. But the problem is when we're learning all this stuff, it's like, oh, so the cripple guy, that's his dad, that's his brother. Oh, he just killed his brother. And we're going to get there. But it's like, there's so much jumps to, and even with this guy, okay, we're meeting this guy who's Rhaenyra's love interest, the father of all these children. There's a lot to go. He's the son of the Hand. He's the brother of this creepy Littlefinger guy. And he's gone. Already he's killed off at the end of this episode. Allegedly, I would assume, because we didn't get the confirmed, but I think he's dead. The thing fell on him and they showed a body, but you never know with the show. But so that's my 2 points of Alicent I can kind of be all right with, but I still feel like we're missing out on some stuff. And then with that one, to me, is a more egregious one where, again, I feel like we could have spent one more, at least one more, maybe even 2 episodes of Rhaenyra and this. Like, they only have the one scene together, or 2 scenes of the child, and they say goodbye. It's like, how am I supposed to believe, like, what the love? So, again, it's just what my problems with this show, that I feel like it could be greater if it wasn't moving so fast. So, those were my
Yeah.
2 kind of cons with the, I liked the ideas, but it's just, oh, it's gone. It's over. It's done with. Okay.
And like everything you just said that there like adds into I remember, I don't know, episode 3 or 4 when I was just like really loving like the actors for like the younger crew, and I'm like, oh, I'm loving what we're getting, but like I'm sad we're gonna be losing them so soon. It's like, why not just do the younger actors in one season if they knew that it was just gonna be making
Yes.
so much money into multiple seasons? Because then you could totally spread these things out, and it wouldn't be so hard to just like eat it all up, right? Because I feel like
Eat
there
it.
was a lot of stuff going on in this episode, and I gave like a bit of a wave of it because it's like a 10-year jump or whatever, but still, it's just it's a lot to unravel. Because I completely agree with what you said too in the non-spoiler, Travis, how like this feels like the start of a new season, and it's weird to just have these little mini 5-episode seasons, at least the way that they're tackling it here.
And it feels like also to me, like this stuff, it's like, let's say you fell off a show and you didn't watch 2 seasons and you just like read the Wikipedia page to catch up so you could start watching. That's what this feels like, but I don't have the Wikipedia page. Now, they're telling us throughout the show, but I just think things like killing that guy off, that to me is very rushed, and I think kind of hurts the show overall. So, yeah, it's weird choices. I don't know why they conceived it like this. You know, I don't know. I'm very confused at times. Even if they didn't conceive it like the show was going to go back and forth between the young actors and the old actors, you know, like that sort of way. So you kind of get the 2 timelines. But I don't know. Taylor, where are you on all this?
I mean, it definitely does tear me apart because I feel like there should have been a little bit more time done with our younger actresses and actors. I think that we could have gotten to see a lot more cool stuff. That being said, like again, I'm biased because now I really like where we are in the storyline, but it is rushed, and I feel like there was a lot of stuff that they just quickly, covered over, and I feel like there's so much more to kind of get into with that one man and then the hand, the guy and his father, the hand, because it was
Yes.
just them just being burned, and that keep was just super unfortunate. Like it was just expedited.
Super
Like,
unfortunate.
This was pretty. I'm pretty sure it was like. Within the last 10 minutes of this episode, we got so much other coverage, but in the last 10, not even 10 minutes, this
of fire.
creepy dude goes in, he unlocks the cage for the goons to get out, they get their tongues snipped off, and then all of a sudden they're wearing bees on their jackets and they're ready to like go full Robin Hood on this guy's ass. And it was just super unfortunate that we didn't get to expand on that more, because I feel like there's more depth there.
An
to
old Game of
dive.
Thrones, I feel like you'd take like 4 episodes. You'd be like, what's this guy up to? What's he doing? And then like the big reveal happens, but it just feels like you get act 1, 2, and 3 of a storyline in an episode. Even last week, which I loved, I loved it because the drama, and I thought there was great tension, there's great reveals and stuff like that. But even then, we just rushed through. Like I loved when they're like, oh, we're gonna have the storyline of these 2 guys having protectors and they're the lovers. That's gonna be fun. And then they just destroy this guy's face. It's like it's over. So that's the unfortunate thing where I feel like that's why I was someone that always hated the Red Wedding. I know people love it. It's a shocking thing. I hated it because I feel like it killed off so many storylines. I get that was the point, but there were so many stories that left unfinished, and I feel like this show's doing that a lot, but not because the story, just because we're jumping forward. And I don't know why we had to even send him away this episode.
Yeah.
Like even then, we even got one thing with him and Sir Kristen. Like we didn't build that up. It's like the first time they get a scene together, they're fucking duking it out. It's just
Yeah, and like in Game of Thrones fashion, I totally was expecting that guy to get fucking capped, but like I wasn't expecting it to happen so quickly. Like
Yes.
exactly what you said, I was expecting at least some sort of face to face with Kristen, but nothing there. That was like extra toothpaste in the tube that they just didn't want to squeeze out, so they just threw the whole tube in the garbage can. It's like, come on, like there's some good stuff in there still. So unfortunate.
It's like they were told, yeah, you're only getting 10 episodes, but like clearly it's not, or they were told that and then like, hey, you know what, we want to do more. And like, well, I guess we would have liked if you would have told us that beforehand, because
Yeah.
Well, that was right after episode 1 premiered. Like, yep, season
Yeah.
2, we're doing it.
yeah. And I feel like it was like I always wondered how successful the show is going to be. I thought it would be successful to warrant a season 2. I didn't know if it would be Game of Thrones level, which I feel like it is for some of those middle pack seasons. But but yeah, I was gonna say, I guess we should probably just chop off that family because now the hand's gone. I really liked that scene when he was trying to quit. He's doing his best. It's just like I feel like he's like when Otto and Veneers were talking about like if they were getting it on and just like be more clear what happened, and he was just like, there's a dark cloud. There's a big dark cloud, lots of rain, very gloomy in my household. And he's just like, well, say it in plain English. And it's just like, but also I just like that they're to the king, and I think he does know, but either way, they're discussing their grandchildren together. Like it's kind of funny, but they are, because like that's his son with Rhaenyra's, and then that's Rhaenyra's is his daughter, right? So in a way, they're talking about their grandchildren, which is super weird. And I think that's a good thing and a bad thing, that bloodline right now with the throne, there's so many people entwined in it right now. I have no fucking clue. Like I have no clue. Like, man.
Yeah, especially now that we're getting kids involved in the show, it's almost like mandatory to get that family tree chart up. Because like
Yes.
before, it's like, okay, whatever. Like we're spread apart enough. I'm hearing names of characters that are different characters because they keep just fucking reusing names. We got a Joffrey now. It's like, oh my gosh, this is hard to.
I'm
this
glad
is hard
it's
to track
nice.
down.
I'm glad it's nice and diverse though, because it's getting a little too close for
Is it?
comfort. Diverse bloodlines. I'd say it's a little bit more diverse
okay.
now. Yeah,
Are you? But this episode, they proposed
they did, but that was super. That was very diverse. So like, if that was still in line with the Valyrian bloodline, it would still be like close knit. Like I feel like, okay, dividing it up like a little bit, like at least it's a little bit better.
No, it's not. That'd be like, okay, let's say Emily dies, right? And then 20 years from now, Gwen has a daughter. And then my new wife might have a son. Gwen pitched for her daughter to marry my son.
In our
Okay, diverse though,
society,
Travis.
our
Yeah.
society, it's not okay. No,
No,
but
but when
that's
you're trying to say,
gross, though.
"Oh, it's more diverse bloodlines," they pitch something that's terrible, very bad. It's like worse.
But that
than
would,
the-
well, yeah. I mean, it's only like the blood is like loosened because Rhaenyra's kids aren't, they're not full Targaryens, full Valerians, right? They're,
yeah, but that's not on paper though. On paper they are. Like it's not known public. So in the eyes of the bloodline, they would be the Venerian, like Valerian, Targaryen. What? But that's what I love about like Alicent. That man, she's just that. I love it, but I also wish we had more context of what's going on because they just had some heavy falling out over these past 10 years because they just fucking hate each other. But I think the reason she really hates her is because she unfortunately still has to be with Smeagol turning into Gollum, and like. She did her job. I imagine she's actually not slept with any other man. She's only slept with the king and made sure those were his children. Where Rhaenyra, who's going to do the same thing, get the crown, get everything, is on the side doing whatever she wants, getting away with it. So I can kind of understand that anger from that point of view. If she's kept to like as clear as could be, because Rhaenyra's is just blood, and she can kind of do whatever she wants. Now, obviously, she kind of gave that guy the wrong idea to maybe exact some revenge that we were talking about. But man, Alicent she is mega pissed off right now.
Yeah, I don't know. I got some feels that she's gonna be. Maybe she'll wait till the king dies, but she'll have another lover in her bed sometime soon.
I agree with the king
Yeah.
dying. I don't think she does now because I don't think she wants to risk it.
No, but I don't think the king's lasting much longer. Fuck, he looks like he's starting to be transparent, like he's like a ghost.
I knew because he was in here, he was lasting, but like, man, because like at that last episode, they told him like, you might only got months left. He's held on for 10 years. Now is he missing a whole arm? Yes, but
Was he missing a whole arm? I
Oh
didn't
yeah,
see
when he
that.
was walking down, like like what? When he was seeing Rhaenyra with like her newborn.
Yes.
And he's just got this super big grin, teeth like rotten out. He's got the Smeagol hair, and
He
just
looks like
us-
mid transformation. Yeah.
I'm
and he's
glad
missing
you
an
mentioned
arm.
it. This is our
Yeah.
thumbnail, the cheeky one. So
Oh my god.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah, because it's the hand, it's the arm where he was losing the finger, so it's just continued. So like, eventually he's gonna look like Two-Face and just like lose half his face and stuff like that. But
That's
Does
what
he make it-
Alicent's been faithful to this whole
oh
time.
god, I hope she hasn't had to go do any more stuff, But
middle of the night, and her maid comes in. The king summons you.
the king's
This
summoning
hour,
her.
you hour.
But like, she has to definitely be on top because he can't hold that weight. I don't think. Like, he's so weak that he would just crumble. I don't think he can do
He
anything.
probably turn to
Yeah.
dust.
And that's all Alicent says is just, "Oh, you're so tired, my lord." I love when the hand was trying to talk to him, like, he's tired. He's like, "I'm not tired. Like, let me talk." But, Tay, what do you think's going on, Alicent?
I really liked her character a lot in this episode. Just felt like she was just fueled by 10 years of just being pissed off about having been lied to by Rhaenyra. And now she's got Sir Christian Cole on her side, and just wow, he's just
Oh,
so
fuck.
pissed off like that. I'm not gonna say the word on air, but yeah, he's so resentful of Rhaenyra, which I really really like, just because he had his heart ripped out by her and stabbed basically. And
You like that?
I think I like it because it's interesting to see such a like flip of this character over 10 years, but I don't like it because initially I liked Sir Christian Cole and I liked how honorable he was and everything. So seeing him in this position, I like the development and the progression of his character to be in this kind of turmoil and be angry. But as far as Alicent goes with the king, like whenever the king just like appeared on screen, like I just fucking laughed. He's sitting in his little chair watching the boys, like, oh, look at the young boys all training
Bonding.
together, bonding. This guy is so fucking oblivious.
And-
It's
the hand
totally like
looks
he's
so
got dementia
frightened.
or something. Like he's just in his own little world.
The hand just like, we can hope. And he's watching all this go down, and he's just like, oh my god, my whole life is crumbling in front of my very
And the
eyes.
king's just like fucking smiling.
Hey, going, behave yourself.
Yeah.
I think for me, in Game of Thrones, I agree with everybody that at one point Joffrey was like the most character that you want to die, right? You want to see that little shit die, and thankfully he did in a very painful way. That for me this season before Kirkland goes is Sir Christian now. He is such a fucking pansy. He's such a fucking wuss. He's a bitter, toxic male who literally Rhaenyra said, you could be this guy. You know, these kids, these could have been Cole's kids. He could have the whole thing. And what did Cole do? He still stayed in the kingdom. He just was on the other side. What a fucking bitch. If anyone, Taylor was going to say, if anyone's the cunt, it's Sir Cole. Fucks. I hope Rhaenyra sleeps with him and basically in like mid-sleep cuts his fucking throat. Fuck Sir Cole. He's
A
fucked with those
Dracarys too, like the dragon's just in the bedroom there. That's what I want. I know. I completely agree with you, Travis, because like I was waiting for like the Allison Kristen Cole like reveal. Okay, like what are they plotting now? Like this is going to be an interesting dynamic, and it's nothing like clever or interesting. It's just he's there and he's just doing his own fucking job, and now he's just loyal to Allison.
I think
and
They
he's
both
just
hate Rhaenyra. That's what it is.
yeah, like he's just super salty at Rhaenyra because he wouldn't just be her whore. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, yeah. Now he's just like hating on all these kids. That entire
And
training sequence was just like, oh my god, this is so
Oh,
cringy because he's just like,
triggering,
yeah, screw you, kids. And it's just like he's like a bully of the fucking play yard now. Like it's so weird. Yeah, no, I definitely he's becoming like Nate in Euphoria. I'm waiting for
Yes.
Fezco to just someone. I guess he kind of did it in this episode though.
Yeah, but he was
what's his
laughing
name?
after
Strong.
because he knew he got rid of him, right? He's like, oh, he's like,
Yeah.
he said some line of like, I guess it's so or something. Like he said
Yeah.
under his breath, but
He's a little bitch.
yeah. See, so far even like Euphoria, I almost feel not as bad. I feel more bad for Nate because he had to grow up with fucking Cal.
Yeah.
So if Cole did this to himself, like, and he can do the whole like, oh well, she wouldn't go with me. He asked her to leave her entire life and kingdom and everything, and she like is very strange. It's just I'm ready for him. It's gonna be a while. I think he's gonna be kicking around for a bit because I think there's some good drama. That's the same thing where I want him to die, not like right away. I want the show to build up to it. I think there's gonna be a good drama because we haven't even. I thought it was a really nice touch that when she's taking the baby, which man, what a asshole move. The second the baby's born, she wants to see the baby just to see its like
I
hair
know.
color and appearance, and then she tells the father like, "Oh, keep trying. Maybe the next one will look like you." It's like, man, I can't wait for Allison and Cole to go at some point. Whenever Damon and Rhaenyra start fucking, those two are over. It's over for them all once that happens. But I love the moment when she takes the baby in and they just said like, "Oh, Sir Cole, your princess," and then that's it. That's all they said, and they moved in the room. I'm very excited when Rhaenyra and Cole have their first conversation, like in a room alone together, so we can catch up on some shit. But yeah, he's just bitter. Like he's just the worst type of ex in the world. Just
Yeah.
like, man, go somewhere else. Leave. You
don't want to marry me, so I'm just gonna like.
Well, he
ruin your
was going to
life.
leave. He was going to kill himself. And then the queen's like, no, I need you for my plans.
And then
So-
leave the next day, be like, "Oh, thanks," and then get out of here. Like, why did he not? And that's where I hate the show jump. Why did he still not kill himself? Why
Yeah.
was he not punished for killing what we assume is just an innocent hand?
I think
of-
they're waiting for when the king dies. Then I think they're going to enact something. Because again, the queen Alicent is still super bitter. Like, hey, like Aegon, like you need to challenge the Rhaenyra, like all this shit. So I
Just
think
wants
as
to
soon as
masturbate all day.
Yeah, he
fuck.
wants nothing to do with the throne, like nothing
Yeah.
at all. He's like, "I won't challenge." And I love that line of "you being alive is a challenge." Like it's like by proxy, but it's funny that Aegon feels a lot like Rhaenyra when she was younger. That he doesn't have any interest in the schemes and everything. And we saw it happen to Rhaenyra. So it's gonna be interesting what happens with Aegon. But that's the tough thing, though, because you're right that they must have some sort of plan. Because the second the king dies, though, she's kind of out. It's Rhaenyra's turn to rule, right? So that's the tough thing where they better have something. Now, again, this episode was like, "Oh, I didn't tell you to do that plan." I feel like she kind of hinted around. Like, she didn't say that she wanted these people gone, but I feel like she said it in a matter of words to the hand son that she wants something done. That was my perspective of she kind of hinted around it.
I also don't think that it was necessarily like, again, she killing them eliminated the evidence, because now, I mean, how can they really prove this fact other than divulging it from, I can't remember the name of the guy, but the Valyrian husband to Rhaenyra.
Yes.
So now those are the only
Laenor?
two. Laenor, yeah, those are the only two that can now shed light on this because now this Kane guy just killed off the only two other people that can actually speak to it. So I think that she's kind of shocked in that regard because the evidence is kind of eliminated. But I do think that she's got her own goals in mind and aspirations for the throne, or at least protecting her family. And this guy's like a dog with a bone, just, sniffing out schemes and everything. So a clever way, too, about cutting off the tongues of his henchmen so they can't actually talk, or if they get caught, they can't spoil any information.
Apparently, they
Actually
couldn't write
pretty genius.
anything either, I guess, but
They definitely didn't look like the writing type, so...
One guy was a part of like the king's soldiers or something like that. Like I
In the
guess.
jail cells?
I thought he was. I thought they said some line where he was maybe like betrayed somebody, but it's like none of these people know how to write. I guess that's who you got to recruit. But I agree with you where like they killed some important people, but he just did that so then because I think at any point he could say like, oh well, she asked me to do that. Like she has something over. He made it so he has something over her now, but she needs to figure it out because that king could die any day, and then it is over for her. Even though the preview makes it sound like Otto's on his way back, I think they didn't show him, but you could hear him in the trailer. So I don't know if she goes to talk to him for like advice, or if they bring him back as like a replacement hand of like, well, we have no one, so we're gonna bring back him. So I'm happy Otto's coming back because I love the Otto character.
I think he'd easily come back as a replacement hand and see fucking Viserys. Oh, my old friend, welcome back. You look so good.
He's like staring at a wall because he's just fucking fading out of consciousness.
It's a
I can-
scarecrow in the yard.
I can all but
Otto!
confirm Otto's gonna be back maybe next week. I don't know if you watched the.
I did.
the-
I said that.
the
I said
preview.
I watched.
There
Yeah.
you go.
Sorry, people don't spoil it, but he is coming back. So
Yeah.
And she said that. I love that line when she's like, "Oh, he'd tell the king straight," and I can't remember what the whole thing was, but he's like, "Well, he would have a conflict of interest," and she's like, "Yeah, but he would tell it straight to me. Like he would fight for me." So again, she's mad at other people for wanting their side of the
Yeah.
story, wanting their power, but she wants it too.
So yeah, like on that note with Alicent, she's definitely doing some plays against my favorite character so far, which is Rhaenyra. So like naturally, I'm rooting against her. I'm mostly just rooting against Kristen Cole, and that's his boss, right? Is Alicent, but like if I just look at her character on her own, like she's totally developed into a very she's always been an interesting character, but now she's just seeming so much more powerful than she did in prior, like just in the past, because she was just like a young girl when she first married Viserys, like just going through those long nights. The king
The
needs
long
you.
nights.
Summons.
Yeah, the summons of the evening, and now like she's still doing like her queenly duties. Like she just totally seems perfect for the role. She's very supportive to Viserys, but like she's strong enough to just be able to make her own ploys, and like it's already showing with like these murders that she's kind of indirectly like pushing forward. So it is very interesting just seeing where she is now compared to where she was just. I guess that's like over 10 years ago now in the show's chronological order, but just in the season, like the character of Alicent has changed quite a bit, and it is interesting seeing that change and to where it's even going to go further. Like to what end is she going to be like that Cersei type that like will do absolutely anything to just like get what's his name? Aegon? Is that word? Yeah, Aegon in the
ready.
throne. So that's going to be interesting to follow. But at this point in time, I'm kind of rooting against her, even though I can understand where she's coming from. for
She
sure.
doesn't strike me as turning into a Cersei clone, and I don't think the showrunners would go that route just to avoid that repetitiveness, I guess. But she strikes me as someone who, like, she's much. I think she's got that Viserys kind of approach where she's a little bit more sentimental and she's more logistically thinking, because we're in that whole debate where Rhaenyra is like, oh, we should have fortified, set up watchtowers in the oh my God, not the Iron Islands. Was it the Iron Islands or not the Stepstones?
No,
Stepstones. Yes.
Stepstones.
So I think when she was counterclaiming that by saying like, hey, we should just be, we need to monitor our budgets and all this kind of stuff. So I feel like Cersei is this kind of queen that would have been like, you know what, fuck it, let's get the armies out there, let's fuck them up, let's have sex, incest, and all that kind of shit. Where the queen here is just, she's much, yeah, she's
I
very
agree with
indifferent
the
to
armor
that.
part. I don't think she was saying let's incest.
That's
It's a reverse
incest
Morbius.
soldiers. Yeah.
Let us incest.
Find your sister.
And everyone's like, what the fuck?
Find a family member.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say like the queen, she's taking care of the king a lot, right? Like she was patting his like pillow and doing all so like he got really offended when she's like, "You're gonna make me comfortable," and she just left and stuff like that. My question is this whole episode: do you think she's taking care of his pews? Because if not, she needs to be getting him manscaped. Because man, if anyone needs it, it is the king. I'm telling you. If you see what's going on the top of his head, that could be going on the bottom, and you don't want when you're summoning people out there. ladies, gentlemen, everyone in between, you don't want to be having the king's head near your nether region. So that's why you gotta use Manscaped, because Manscaped can get rid of all that. You could go down to your skibbies. You could have different guards to get your length. You don't want to be rocking king length. I'm gonna just say that out there. It's back to school season. Maybe you're meeting new people. We're all coupled up and whatnot. But, if you're not, school's a great time. You're meeting lots of people. Maybe you got similar interests, stuff like that. And I guarantee you a similar interest that you're going to want to have with that person is a well-tamed bush area. Something good and everything like that, So Manscaped is what you want to be doing, whether you're getting the lawnmower, which is 4.0, whether you want to be getting boxers to cover up that nether region, whether you want to be getting the shirt. They got a nail kit coming too, which looks very interesting. I'm not sure if you guys got that interesting. Yeah, or got that email. I'm not sure if it's out or about to come up, but it's a whole little package and everything like that. So you want to be getting this stuff to take care of your package. Am I right, Kirkland? You don't want to be looking like King Viziers meeting people. Yeah. You don't want for the audio listeners, it is a picture of King Viziers. You do not want your region to be looking like him.
The top of the head there, that's probably what his nutsack's looking like, right?
Yes.
All like chafed up and scratched because of he's not using the lawnmower 4.0.
You see how happy he is? No one's going to be giving you that smile if you pull down your pants looking like that. Right, Kirkland?
Oh, 100%. Yes, that's right. As you mentioned, school is starting. I was starting school this month in September, and they were giving out these little essentials packs. They had some snacks in there. It's college, so they're handing out condoms. I was just appalled that they weren't throwing out some lawnmower 4.0s in there, because you gotta have safe sex. You gotta have safe sex, but you gotta have trim up the nether regions. Otherwise, you won't have the opportunity to have safe sex. And very excited about the nail trimming kit. I take my nail care very seriously, as you should. So definitely go check out Manscaped. 20% off. GV Pod. Worldwide shipping.
At my job, I'm typing all the time, so I need those pristine nails. And Taylor, I imagine you're graphic designing, so you need some good nails too, right?
Yeah, I actually go really, really short for my nails. You can't even see the whites of my nails. Yeah, I just go super,
I don't even have
super
nails.
short. Right up to the cuticles. But
Talk about
You're supposed to
Manscaped.
trim the whole nail off,
Yeah.
right?
Manscaped's kits, they make sure that doesn't happen.
yeah, so no, I mean nail cutting. That sounds right on my alley. I need a good nail man grooming kit for that kind of thing. It's just Manscaped has everything. It's got all the gems and jewels of the piece de resistance kind of thing. And again, I'm a huge sucker for that ball deodorant, the crop preserver, all that kind of stuff. Because when you're sitting down at a desk all day, doing computer work, there might be someone nearby and they're gonna do
Smelling your balls.
and they're just gonna be oh no, they're sniffing me. That's what they're sniffing. So
There's Taylor with the smelly balls again, but they don't say
Yeah.
that now with Manscaped.
no,
That's
they
what this
don't.
guy's looking like after he sniffs you.
He's sitting all
If
day.
you don't have Manscaped, that's what you're going to look like. That's what you're going to look like. Not trimmed, not refreshed. So that's
Not at
why
all.
head over to the website, use that podcast code. Like Kirkland said, GV Pod gets you 20% off and free worldwide shipping. May as well throw that other ad break while we're here. So, yeah. I thought you were going to bring us back in, Taylor.
No, you led, so I was gonna let you. But yeah, we're back. How about that? Where are we going?
How about that?
You guys kind of talked about her a little bit. I didn't go too much into Rhaenyra here. She's now, the same Rhaenyra as we saw, but she's got 3 kids now, 4 kids.
Yeah, been busy.
Yeah, been busy and definitely is in that motherly role. Like she definitely seems like she's fitting that. She didn't have a lot of moments with her kids, but still, it's believable that she's coming to this motherly role. But take her in the king's council room, and even when she's discussing things with some other characters, I think the 2 actresses, or I don't know if it's Emma Darcy doing such a great job, or it's probably the 2 of them, Millie Alcock and Emma Darcy, but they do seem like the same character, even though it's 2 different actresses. And I was wondering how that flip was going to be. And for me, it's not anything jarring by any means. I think they're doing such a good job at that handoff, and she still has this fiery rebellious nature to her character, and it's showing through her kids that she's producing, but also just her attitude in those moments when she's just her attitude of having to deal with the queen now. I was kind of surprised that she like straight up just like apologized. I feel like that was kind of a power play.
Well, it's like a fake
in the room.
apology, though. I feel like because she even
Absolutely.
said that, right? Because the king's like, she's so sincere, and she's like, she's so desperate, or whatever she said, right?
Yeah. The king is just he's got like
He was
one
like,
step
"This is
out the
great."
door. Yeah, he's like going off to heaven, and he's just like, oh yeah, no, everything's gonna be happy. You know, everyone's just gonna hold hands, and
He said this
all
whole
gonna work
kingdom
out.
for failure, and he's just, you know.
But like, yeah, so it definitely wasn't sincere, but it was also like a power move, like pushing the marriage not in privacy, like with Allison, like in front of the
100%.
whole council and the king. And the king's like, this is a great idea. Like, let's totally do this. And then Allison's like, we'll discuss this later. But yeah, no, just getting back to Rhaenyra, I'm really, I think it was a great first showing with Emma Darcy in the chair, and I'm excited to see what happens going forward, because she didn't have a lot of moments to like be a like badass warrior character,
Yes.
because she was kind of like just got out of labor, so obviously she'd be pretty worn out, but now she's in Dragonstone. So
Still badass
yeah.
that she walked there and back, though, because that is
Absolutely,
that's quite
yeah.
the feat.
That the trail of blood, I wasn't like, you couldn't see it until after she left that, the queen's room and such. I thought, oh, that's just brutal. Jesus.
Yeah, fucking Allison. Should
I'm ready.
walked.
I'm ready for Rhaenyra to do something bad to Allison. Whether it's revenge, whatever it is. But you never know with these shows of who's gonna get what. But I'm ready for that whole side.
Slap her.
Yeah,
Don't your brother? He took my father's love.
You fuck my dad. You fuck my dad. Oh god. He's just haunting.
Look at all these young boys bonding.
Okay, well he's not Michael Jackson now, even though he did say that. But
Anything you want to throw on Rhaenyra, or were you gonna say something else?
no, I think I like the actress so far. I think she's great. Again, I wish there was more stuff with her and the new lover, but I think she's gonna have. I liked the drama of her and because their names are very similar. I know there's Rhaenyra, who was the sister of Valerian. What's her husband's name?
Oh, like Rhaenys? Like
Rhaenys.
that one?
Rhaenys. Fuck.
No, that's like the woman. That was the woman that was king, or should have been king, whatever her name was.
No. Who was Damon married to in this episode? Her name's Rhaenyra, right? Their brother
it
and
was
sister,
like
and their names
Lena
are
or something like that. I'll pull it up.
they're very similar. It's
Yeah.
fucking Lord of the Rings shit and anything. But anyway, so him, I liked their conversation. I'm just being, I just want to escape, and she's like, you've been drinking the finest wine, drinking or what was it like, being with the fullest boys or fittest boys, whatever it may be, and stuff like that. So they had their arrangement. They've done that. He seems like he doesn't. Again, he almost doesn't care. He's like, I've done 10 years, I don't want to do anymore. So I found it interesting that they were both going to piece off and go to Dragonstone, and I liked that they were in agreement. I like that they've had disagreements so far, last episode and here, but it seems like, okay, they're obviously not in love, but they have a partnership, and I like that a few times they've come together and be like, no, like, we fully agree on this. Let's get out of here. Because I thought he was going to get some bullshit reason of, no, we shouldn't go the kingdom. But he was like, yeah, let's fucking, yeah, I'm so down to go back home. We should have done this years ago and stuff like that. And go ahead.
I feel like maybe he would have if she didn't just like pull rank on him. It's like, all right, you don't want to come? Well, too bad. I fucking command you. I'm the
true.
future
Yeah.
queen of the Iron Throne right there.
And
And then
she
I
did-
feel like at that point he's like, okay, yes, ma'am.
Yeah, she did kind of do that earlier in the episode, right? Like, I command you to just kind of keep your post. But I feel like she kind of took into what he said, and then they came to that agreement. And I like when he's like, oh, well, they say something like a weather, something about someone leaving in a storm is weak, but then she gives the example of like, but the person that leaves before the storm hits is the strongest, something like that, saying like, we could avoid the fucking storm if we just get out of here.
Well, that's
Go
the
ahead.
line that he gave her, right? Like when
Right,
when
right.
he was trying to like again
Convince
he yeah, like his argument in that situation is like, I just gotta go to war, like this is so awesome, this is exactly what I need out of all this time. Meanwhile, like she's just had like 3 kids, like none of them are his, and he just like goes off and parties with his boy toy.
He's a little tipsy in that convo. He
Absolutely.
was in the clearest mind.
But like in that moment, that was her just like saying the exact same line to him, and then it's
Yes.
like, okay. And then she was nice. She let him bring his toy with him, so that's all good. They
Yeah.
gave a little smirk there at the end. So
even
he's
though they're
happy.
going back to Dragonstone at a very awkward time, not the warm welcome it's gonna be, because his sister's now just dust.
Who's
you
at
know?
Dragonstone right now?
Is anybody at Dragonstone? Oh, I guess no
No,
one's there
Damon.
yet.
Damon bopped out of there, so
Oh,
Yeah,
his
they were
sister
somewhere
you're
else.
it's
talking
promised.
about.
It's promised
So
to her.
Her name is Lena,
Lane. Okay, yeah, they
the one
weren't-
that Damon's like new wife that
Yeah.
just died in this episode.
But they weren't at Dragonstone. She wanted to go back to Dragonstone, right?
Was that what it was? I thought she was trying to go back to the Driftmark.
Yeah, she wanted to go back to the Driftmark. Yeah, where she grew up.
Fuck these locations. So the
I know,
dragons-
it's tricky.
So what is the Driftmark? Have we seen the Driftmark?
Yeah, that's
Yes.
where they were from. That's where like the
Last
wooden
episode.
throne that the guy was sitting on, the King Valerian, king of the
Okay,
Well,
and then
who's
where's Dragonstone?
Dragonstone. That's where like Stannis is. That's like a sailing ride from King's Landing.
It's like an
kinda
island
far
off of King's.
She said they
I
wanted to go to
right?
Dragonstone, though, didn't she? Rhaenyra
Nope.
in this episode? Did she
Nope.
say Driftmark?
Rhaenyra
Rhaenyra-
wanted to.
Rhaenyra
but
wanted to.
Lena did not want to. She wanted to go to the Driftmark.
Because
Oh.
Dragonstone
Okay.
isn't Daemon's anymore. It is Rhaenyra's. She was just chilling in King's Landing because, as she stated to, or as Laenor said to her, it's like you didn't want to leave to go to Dragonstone
Mhm.
because as soon as you leave, like no one is here to defend
Allison
your dad.
Willis.
But-
whisper
Allison's
sweet
just
nothings.
gonna sweet
Where-
honey, I think, into her ear was the word.
So where are the other Valerians? Like the guy's dad, the
Corlys?
Rhaenyra's-
He's probably
yeah.
in Driftmark, I would imagine, because that's like his
Driftmark? Okay.
like kingdom, isn't it?
I felt they were kind of alluding to
Lord
him
Father.
being gone, but like I hope not. They were
he's
very
there,
vague
Taylor,
around
don't
it.
worry.
Okay,
he's
good.
there. He's there. Yeah.
They go to him and he's just fucking looking like this.
But like, so Rhaenyra's God, there's so many timelines. But Rhaenyra's with the dreads, though, with the dreads, they're very weak dreads.
Couple peg legs, like
Yeah.
that guy from Family
Okay,
Guy.
so Rhaenyra's husband. I'm sorry for the GA people. Rhaenyra's husband, his sister was Daemon's wife, though, right? Because we're gonna talk about them. But they were brother and sister, right?
Yes, yes.
Didn't she
you're
say
on.
a line of him wanting to see his sister? I thought they said. I thought
No,
they
she said she wanted to see her brother.
him because she
Which
said
is
him,
Laenor.
right?
Lena was like, yeah, I would really like to see
Yeah.
my brother.
Yeah,
but he
and
didn't
I-
say anything about seeing Lena.
Maybe I'm wrong. I thought that Rhaenyra said something about we could see Lena and stuff like that. So
I
maybe I
remember
caught it because their
that.
names are so fucking similar. So,
Yeah.
anyways, take that out. Either way, it's not going to be a good time because they're going to go back there and people are going to be depressed because they're going to get some bad news about what happens with Daemon going on. Now, I have to. Well, I guess I'll say that. I was going to say with Daemon, still continues to be my favorite character. I love what's going on. I love that he does not want at all to get back in the thick of things. Like he's just so. I love before like he feels like he's still a Daemon we know. It's like underneath, but I feel that before he was always wanting to get in trouble, get in the shit, do whatever. He just even if he's gonna stay at a place that has a shit wine, it feels like he just doesn't want to get back into it because he just does not want to get back in the wheel. He's been saying that like the power and the politics, and I loved him and Lena's discussion, but I really liked this reserved Daemon of I just want to stay here, and not that he's scared, but I almost got a sense of fear of just like he just does not want to get back into because he almost feels like if he gets back into it, it's over. This like he's stuck there. You know, he likes this break of being used, and he's not making the decision. It's just I'm a powerful guy that has dragons, and that's it. So I really like this aspect. Clearly, he's going to get brought back in, but I like him just being reserved of I don't want to do this at all, and it was a fun character turn for him.
Yeah, it was. I definitely think it's just like contained to this one episode, though, because we only have 10 episodes, you know, and this was episode 6, so it's gonna be going pretty damn quick going forward. But I'm excited to see him and like Rhaenyra on screen again together. And I'm also just excited for him to get back in the game because, as you mentioned, Travis, it is definitely cool to see like a different change of him. But out of my preferred, like if I had to choose one or the other, I want the Daemon causing shit in King's Landing. You know, I want him.
My
to just-
lord, save me!
And now he's single too, so.
My lord, save me.
And same thing. Like
He's going back to the steps. It's the same guy. He came back for me. I waited 10 years. My legs were squished.
I also thought same thing of like this dynamic of him and Lena I really liked, and I hate that that's already over after one episode. You know, I
Yeah.
wanted more of that, and it's also just gone. So
Yeah, and that could have been like a 4-episode thing, if anything, if this was contained to
Yes.
one season, you know, with like the later time frame, I guess, of the season.
like think about her screen time. We met her as like a small girl last episode where her and Damon just dance. This episode we jump to they're married, have kids, then she's dead. Like that like we know nothing about that character. Like, we know a few things about that character, but it's such like a disappointing little arc of like even though the stuff I like in it is there, it's just overall.
I'm hoping that they pass that along to like her daughters, and that her daughters will kind of take over and be, I guess, kind of like a spiritual successor to Lena, I guess, in that regard. And I'm hoping one of them inherits the dragon, because that dragon was fucking huge. It looks so good on like,
Yeah.
like good quality, good CGI. I'll leave it at that. But yeah, I think that her dying and seeing Damon's just reaction, and the whole dynamic too, where the daughter's like, yeah, father doesn't really acknowledge me or anything like that. Like, it's just, Damon's just such an intriguing character with every kind of change and shift he goes through with every single episode. So yeah, I'm excited to see what's gonna happen, because we've been saying this whole time, like, eventually he's gonna marry Rhaenyra, and I thought, okay, well, he's got his own wife now, and yeah, she just, another one bites the dust, so she's
Yeah.
gone.
They solved that problem quick, and that's why I just wonder. Like, I know that's the end game, but it's like I thought that'd be like last season stuff like that. The way this show moves, I don't even know that's gonna be last season. We could be at the end of this fucking finale, like this season, they'll be married and have 6 kids. Be like, oh, that's the show now, And I was
Yeah.
gonna ask, because I liked that they did the whole play on the pilot where he was faced with the same decision, right? As far as the baby's not coming out, the baby might make it, might not make it. We'll have to cut it from the womb. Will she survive? Likely not. I have to ask you guys, because Emily was saying this, and I think I agree, but did they cut the baby out and she chose to die by the dragon or not? I was unclear because they didn't show Damon with a baby out.
I thought she still had the baby. I thought it was
I
kind
thought
of
she
a
still had the
setup.
baby as well.
I thought it was a setup of like paralleling the first episode where with Viserys, it was
Well,
the
it
same
is.
position, right? So she just chose not to give him that option.
This baby's coming with me though. Like, that's kind of
Yeah,
weird. That,
yeah,
like,
that's
that's why I
what
was confused, because there was no like solid explanation on like what the end result of that happened was.
No.
Like she did that because she just didn't want to die by the sword. She didn't want Daemon to have this baby. She did like.
Well, no, you
I was
might
confused.
get the baby and I die, or you don't get the baby and I still might die. It's just either way.
but
It's just
no, but-
suffering.
But here's
Her
the
option
thi-
was dead no matter what.
That's my question. Was it just death no matter what? And I think it was.
She
right?
made a point earlier in the episode too, like, I want to die a dragon rider's death, and so I think
That's
again,
fine.
she
Every
just-
dragon rider gets just fucking capped by their own dragon.
I guess I'm just like what Kirk was saying, where like, okay, maybe I'm wrong, and someone please tell me, Discord comments, whatever it may be. If the scenario is no matter what, she is dying, and she seems like she loved her kids, everything like that, and I feel like Damon, like, he might be not the closest father, but he also didn't seem like he was treating the kids like shit. It just seems like he, might be a little more like, I still feel like at the end of the day, in this show, if someone threatens his kids, Damon's gonna go fucking balls to the wall. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying right now, where some other people might not, right? Like maybe even Rhaenyra's husband might not do that. So my whole thing is, and she even said, like, they didn't have a bitter marriage. She says, like, I understand I might not have been your first choice, but like I've grown to accept that, and that's fine, everything like that. So it's weird that if she was going to die, no matter what, and the baby was likely going to die, but there's a chance the baby could live if we were to do the surgery. She didn't take it. She just decided to kill herself and the baby. And I felt that overall that was super unclear, everything with the whole result, her motivation. And that for me is like a negative, because I think the imagery was cool in that moment and the dragon not wanting to do it. But because it was so unclear, I don't think it was well done. I think that end result was kind of sloppy. And again, it just, why would she take the baby? And then they should have made her and Damon's marriage more like he was just using the kids for power, and he was a bit more bitter and a bit more an asshole, because then I could be like, oh, she doesn't want him to have another kid because they're just pawns to him. But we didn't really get that sense. We got that sense he wanted to just kind of lounge around. She even said, get fat and old and just hang out, So I didn't get the sense that he was like, fuck these people. So I don't know. Not their best writing, I'd say, for the result here. So anything
Fair
else to
enough.
add on that, Taylor?
No, I agree. It was a little convoluted a little bit. So
Watch next
but
week.
yeah.
You have a fucking baby, and we'll be like, what the fuck
he'll
happened?
have the baby. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I don't have anything else to really add onto that.
When do you think that they see? Because I was wrong when I was on my episode with you guys. I said that we wouldn't have Rhaenyra and Daemon interact until the time jump. They did last week in that very sultry like face grab, which was like, man, don't be doing this in public. When do you think they reunite in this season? Or in these
Oh
episodes?
gosh.
I don't think next week.
I don't think next week, but I think he won't suspect Rhaenyra is at Dragonstone, and he'll return there and just be like, "Oh, what the fuck? What are you doing here?" So
Yeah,
yeah.
you'll be butt ass naked and everything. I'm gonna say penultimate
Just
episode.
wanking off in the window.
They'll be up in the window. yeah.
Home. I think penultimate episode. That's what I think.
when they meet. Next.
Yeah, and then maybe near the end, so you get a lot of tease, and then finale is like a big, like, oh, they're gonna talk and shit like that. So
Yeah.
maybe. 5.
Just another thing I wanted to highlight again is about Viserys. It just fucking cracked me up because as soon as Rhaenyra walks into the room to see Alicent and she's carrying the baby and he's like, "Where is he? Where's my grandson?"
Exactly
My
what I thought
firstborn.
too.
He
Where
sounded
is he?
like-
Where is my firstborn?
Yeah, he sounded like Denethor. What about you, Kurt? When do you think they're gonna reunite Daemon and Rhaenyra this season?
I mean, fuck, I could see it next episode, honestly, because like,
Ooh.
I know they're a little ways away from each other, but like, okay, we got rid of Lena, we got rid of Mr. Strong, whatever his name was, Rhaenyra's love interest, and now we're just going to this like neutral location with Laenor. I don't know, like I don't know why we would need much time to get like Damon back in the thick of it. Honestly, I feel like it could totally work just being next week. So I think that'll happen, and I'm kind of hoping that is the case too, because I think there's a lot of that's like the juiciest part of the out of the orange is like amongst those two characters, and like they like obviously they're going for the same position, and then like broke apart, and then had this like weird love situation, and then like that kind of dissipated, and then 10 years went on, and then now we're getting back to it, and they're both just single and ready to shack up and
Well, she's not
make some more
exactly
babies.
single. I guess she is single. Well, she's not. I guess she got married, but I guess she lost her partner, which she has to learn next week, I imagine, too, which is not going to go over well. I
Right.
don't think when she gets that
Yeah.
information. I think she's going to be heading. I feel like they're going to be there, but the second she gets that information, she's going to be turning right back around to go to King's Landing. I think.
And it's like, yeah, I feel like that death too of that character it's extra weighted because it's not like the kids didn't know that like that was their son or anything like that. That was straight up. That one kid acted a little bit weird. It's like, am I a bastard?
Am I a bastard? Is Sir whatever my father?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's gonna be spreading rumors and letting the whole fucking kingdom know.
They got weird kids. They got him. They got the kid that's masturbating windows and stuff like that. Who's David Tennant's kid, by the way, if you didn't know in real life.
I thought he was the kid from Stranger Things at first.
He looks
So
like Finn
did I.
Wolfhard a little bit.
Finn
Yeah.
Wolfhard, yeah.
Yeah, with a blonde wig. And then you
The
got Bug
wiggiest hair
Girl,
ever.
who's what the fuck's Bug Girl gonna do? Like, she does not look like
He's
she's ready.
27,000 head legs on this.
She didn't look like she's ready for Game of Thrones politics at all. Like she's gonna get kidnapped very easily. And then you got the guy who's like getting bullied on a lot because they want him to ride the pig and stuff like that. And
Yeah,
I
that
don't
one's a
know
little
why.
dweeb in my eyes.
Yeah.
He's just like super grouchy towards like Dracarys. I think that's
Yeah.
his name.
And then you got Rhaenyra's kid, who it's funny because they seem very chummy with the oldest Aegon, and then near the battles they were like pushing each other and stuff like that. So there's already politics going on between these kids. Please don't do another time jump. I'm begging you. Don't make another show if you want to talk about them. But
That's why Henry Cavill gets introduced to the show. He's
Yeah.
like Aegon this whole time. They just keep the Witcher wig
fucking
on him.
jacked, yeah. Just goes from one set to another. Ladies would love that. Just that scene of Henry Cavill masturbating in the window set.
I love it too, that moment with the daughter and Alicent, and like the daughter's just like fucking being Bug Girl and telling Alicent all these facts with the bug, and Alicent's like, she's like being a good mom of like listening to her, but she can tell she's like, I have no interest. I have like no similar interests with
Such
my
a
daughter.
disappointment. Yeah. 100%.
She's like holding their hand. It's like, oh yeah, is that really how it is? Okay, yeah. But like that's her one daughter, so she's gotta have a lot of love for her.
Yeah.
Is she gonna lose her to Rhaenyra's son? We'll see.
Oh, God, right, the proposal. And then that has to be a slap in the face to her because, like she says, it's not even like, whoa, I got Speed Racer going out there.
on
It's
the
not
Civic
even.
out front.
It's not even like a real Targaryen, Valerian child that she'd be giving her. And that was the whole pitch, right? Behind closed doors and stuff. And then the king's like, don't ever say that again. Lots of treason going on, but yeah. Anything else? I feel like we covered a lot, but didn't cover everything because there's a lot to cover. I was gonna say, did you notice the asshole Lannister guy was on the council now, who wanted to marry
Tywin.
Rhaenyra? Yeah, he's
Thailand
on,
or something like that.
yeah,
I
he's on
didn't
the
see
main.
him on there.
Yeah, he's on the main council now. So there you go. That's how they're gonna get the name Joffrey. He's gonna hear that name and be like, "That's a great name."
Good
and
fucking name.
That's
yeah,
a sick
pass it
name.
down. Yeah, that's a sick name. I'm trying to think.
I
if
don't,
there's-
I don't think I really anything else to add. I mean, we didn't. Obviously, we mentioned we didn't see Lord Corlys in here. We didn't see Lord Rhaenys. I also saw her in the next, like the preview. So it's going to be some more chess pieces on the board for next week, including Otto Hightower. And yeah, I agree. Otto Hightower, again, he was kind of opposing my favorite character at the time, but he's still very interesting. I'm excited to see
Yes.
what he's been doing for like the last decade. I imagine he hasn't just been watching cartoons in his parents' basement or something.
Paid,
Like that.
getting laid.
He's reverse Viserys.
It's Henry
He's just like,
Cavill.
yeah,
That's the actor
Henry
change.
Cavill. Who goes Hightower and he's looking younger. It's like, wow, he's got
Allison's
some good
getting all the
medicine.
hots for her dad now.
Yeah. You know what the Targaryens do. But oh shit, I was gonna say something, but I forgot. We're talking about all those people and stuff like that. I feel like he's not gonna be a fan of. He's gonna be backing Alicent up, but I feel like he's not gonna be a fan of that other guy getting in there and having his, like needing a favor now that they killed.
Oh,
the hand.
yeah.
Like,
No, that's a dynamic I'd really like to see.
you're gonna see it. I think it's gonna happen. I think Hightower's gonna be like, how did you get yourself into this fucking situation? Like, and I'm also interested too with Damon. If they're gonna, because I know it's her dragon, but if they're gonna fully believe him that it's a act, like she chose that, because he's been like, he lost already one wife in a very like suspicious circumstance, right? So it's like he had nothing to do with this, but they might think otherwise, right? They might be like, well, he already lost one wife, and it was and same thing, no one else was around, right, for that dragon spewing, so it's just him. So I think that could create some.
He was the first one on scene.
Yeah. Plus, I always feel like wonder what is gonna like, because this is what I don't know. I'm excited to find out when Rhaenyra and Damien get together, and like, what is the status of her and her other husband? Is it separation? Is it they are? Does he die? Does she take on a second husband? Because that does happen in these worlds, right? If like you can marry more than two people. Like, I'm interested to see what is the status of that when they get together, and I'm also interested for Sir Cole to get fucked up at some point. So.
Yeah,
That's my hope in the next few episodes.
The whole next episode is like a 10-minute beat up scene.
Like what they did to Reek in Game of Thrones, they do it to him. Like, now we're cooking your penis and everything like that.
We're cooking penis.
Yeah, feeding it to the king. He has no idea. He thinks it's the food on the menu. Yeah. This pork is great. Where'd you get it from? Give me more.
Takes one bite and he looks like this. Fuck, I love
God
that
damn.
image.
It's
That
so
is
good.
haunting. That is haunting.
I wonder how Otto would feel if he's just strolling out like back in King's Landing, looks up, sees his grandson just fucking beating one off.
Oh,
up
I
there.
know.
God damn.
He probably regrets everything he ever did. He was like, you know what? I should
Yeah.
never put my daughter in this situation. I got this. Like my grandson is beating off on top of King's Landing. My granddaughter's just obsessed with fucking bugs, and my other one's a loser who's pouty. Like, man, like I got some shit, and that's why I do feel like I don't think he's gonna like turn against Alicent. That I don't think. I think he's just gonna. He's gonna respect her for growing up and being more hardened, but I think he is also gonna be like, what the fuck did happen over all this time, and why aren't you almost in more control? Because the king still kind of like overpowers her. And I feel like too, I guess the last question to end this off, do you think the king has to die this season, right? Like he can't make it
There's
to the
no
end.
way. I wouldn't be
He
surprised.
survived 10 years, Taylor.
Yeah, I know. So I wouldn't be surprised, but he's gotta die. He's gotta freaking die. I mean, look at this fucker.
I know,
It's
yeah.
just
Fuck. He probably just reeks too. Like his flesh is already fallen off. He probably just is very smelly man.
I'm not gonna
He's
drop it
gonna
because Kirkland's editing it, but man, I want to drop the penguin god. What are you showing me? Come on, what are you showing me? Because that is some gnarly stuff. But
Appreciate it.
I still think there's a chance that he makes it out. I actually do.
Yeah, he just like gets cured, comes back looking like 6'5" Cavill.
No, because I just think, are we really gonna? I guess that would be a good season finale if he dies, and then the next season is Rhaenyra's up to bat, right?
That's
As
true.
the queen.
Yeah.
So I guess that I just go in my mind. It probably will happen because in my mind, I'm like, really, already season 2, we're gonna get there, but. Fuck! Look what we've already got in these
True.
6 episodes of like I wouldn't have thought we would have got. So
It's a good point because I feel like he's already on death's door. I'm like, they gotta kill him off soon, but there's also just a lot of big things that's gonna happen with that death, like that, like all like the big
Yes.
ceremony, like his funeral, and then like they just exchange all new like board pieces on the chessboard with that, because now you got Rhaenyra, who's the new queen, and then Alicent's just gonna be trying to get I don't even know what she can do at that point if Rhaenyra just gets ultimate power. Maybe that's why she feels so desperate at this point in time, because she needs to get affairs in order.
Well, she's
while
speaking.
Viserys is on his way out.
She's just reiterating what Otto told her, right? Because again, she wasn't thinking like that. So, oh no! What the fuck? That's brutal.
Shining, good pull.
Oh my
where's
god!
my grandson?
It's like
That's
the king has
great.
summoned you.
Great shout out for Matt Nagala. He's a great critic, but yeah.
So yeah, I think it's interesting how Allison's just reiterating what Otto's saying. Like you're in danger, you're a challenge, all that kind of stuff. That's all Otto is saying. But she's not as like reinforcive, I guess, about it as Otto.
She's more
was.
aggressive. I feel
Is
like
she?
Otto. I think so because Otto. She's like yelling at him, and she's doing it while the guy's a mid boner and stuff like that. He was only being aggressive because like literally Otto had to go. It's like you had to leave King's Landing and get out of here. But I feel like he was very swift and just like this is what has to be done. They're gonna come for him. Very matter of fact. I feel like because she was like yelling at Aegon, he might have not taken it in as well as she did. So
That's
plus
fair.
he does have some of his father in him, right? So he's gonna maybe not be the greatest with information. So
It's true. Beautiful.
Cool.
Is that
Well,
it?
anything else you guys got, or is that closing us out?
No,
close
next
this
week
out.
it's just gonna be a me and Kirkland episode. Cause
Oh, yes.
yeah. So yeah, look at that.
Why?
Because
Actually, yeah, I don't know.
Character Taylor's character's getting killed off.
Yeah,
for
we
next week's
decided.
episode.
Yeah,
With
Gotta
my
share
Viserys,
it.
and then next time I come back.
Yeah, that'll be.
Taylor with this makeup. Yeah, I'd want to see that.
Let's end this episode.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you know where to find us. We'll see you in the search bar.
Farewell.